what I know. Better than the rest, just watch me grow. Put me to the test and watch me go. This is my quest, I'ma make it known. They call me obsessive, oh I know. Call me selective with my notes. Call me aggressive with my flow. Call me offensive even though Joe, I ain't gonna lie, life's tough. Try to get by, life's rough. Try to do it right.
Yeehaw, soldiers, it's your boy, the Anime Sage, coming at you with another video, and this is What If Deku Was New Uchiha Part 4. So, another part is here, so this should be fun, I guess, as again to USJ arc, and much, much more. But first, a word from our sponsor. The video is sponsored by Beautiful Halo. If you want some nice looking anime and meme apparel or clothing, this is a site for you. You can also use code MEME for 5% off orders of $49+, or repeat code MEME, and code MEME for 10% off of orders of $99+. Also, you buying some stuff there also supports me, so go check out Beautiful Halo. Their links will be in the description. This week, you guys should get Say Naruto, probably on first day based on how my, schedule's going in a little bit, and, days I post videos, so, Say Naruto probably on Thursday, and Say Six Paths Naruto probably on Saturday, so, that should be lit anyways, so, because you guys get the videos, so, that should be fun. Anyways, watch my community tab like a hawk, as you guys get vid updates, polls, the ability to select what ifs you want for the week, and of course, some other fun stuff in between. So again, watch my community tab like a hawk. Check out my Patreon, it has some nice rewards you can get if you support me financially. The link to that will be in the description. Alright, time for some quick social media plugs. Twitter is at AnimeSage4, Instagram is Anime_Sage4, and of course, join my Discord server. I'll give you all reasons to follow / join us at the end of the video, so watch until the end. Alright, time for the usual checklist. If you haven't seen the last part, the link to that will be in the description, which will be part 3, so, check that out. And if you haven't seen the series at all, check out the playlist. With all that out of the way, let's get right into the story. Alright, so where we last left off, Deku was about to face off against the Nomu. Shigaraki wants Deku to join the league, and now he wants to take him, by force. Deku turns on his full cowling and goes for a frontal assault on the Nomu. He lands a couple hits as the Nomu just stands there, and Deku realizes nothing is happening. He's not damaging the Nomu at all. Deku then sees the Nomu is about to hit him, and Deku with his Sharingan on dodges it. Shigaraki then mocks Deku saying, "Oh, come on, with hits like those, they won't even give my Nomu a scratch. Try and hit harder. Maybe that will give you results." Deku just gets a bit more angry and decides to go for more of a frontal assault again, this time with more power, so he can give them, some more damage potentially. Unfortunately for Deku, he can't do much to Nomu and will have to play a game of dodge, because he cannot get, hit by this Nomu because it has some very powerful strength and stuff like that, so yeah, you don't want to get hit by that. Shigaraki will continue to mock Deku and say, "You don't see it yet. You can't hurt the Nomu because of its shock absorption. Your hits are futile." Deku then has to make sure that he can hit the Nomu harder and beat the thing, so he'll have to put in more power. So he combines his Sharingan with his full cowling and speeds up to Nomu, and Deku lands a hit that sends Nomu back. And Deku, a bit exhausted, thinks he did it, but Nomu seems to have not been affected by it at all. Shigaraki, a bit impressed by the attack, says, "Well, that's better, but you're going to need more power than that." Deku's just shocked and angry as he knows that he needs to tap into more power, but can he actually do that? Meanwhile, inside the mind of Deku, Nana, in a bit of a shock and horrified type of look, says, "It can't be. Tenko?" Dark Deku smiles and says, "Glad you recognize him. You probably are shocked right now, but let me say that it was bound to happen based on circumstances. Maybe he wouldn't have found someone like All Front, but what purpose would he have for becoming a hero, especially with the circumstances he had? It speaks to the flaws of Hero Society, the society that came with the rise of All Might." By the way, I'm trying not to give people spoilers for the manga, so, I'm coming in clutch for you guys, so, yeah. Nana will be a bit sad, but she gets a bit more determination, and Nana will say, "If you have a point that Hero Society is flawed and something needs to change, that's why when Deku chooses the path of light, he can help make changes to Hero Society that can allow it to evolve, not be destroyed." Dark Deku will say, "So, you're still on the side of light, but you want to hope for new changes to Hero Society. That can't happen, because unless Hero Society is destroyed, there can never be any changes of that you're thinking about." Nana will say, "We'll see about that." Back to Deku, he's getting a bit more angry and will go for more power as his Sharingan is powering up because of his emotions. Deku decides to try and put an illusion on Nomu and then goes for another strike. Illusion essentially is Deku trying to make Nomu feel actual pain with the illusion, so even when he hits the Nomu, even though on the outside there's no pain and there should be no pain, Nomu itself will feel pain because it thinks it got hurt. Bakugo and company will come in clutch and will help Deku out by going up against Kurogiri, and Bakugo of course wants to help Deku, but seeing something, off with Deku's eyes and stuff like that, like he's more determined than usual, he realizes he might want to leave, Deku alone and, fight his own battles, Deku goes with a Sharingan Detroit Smash, and will hit the Nomu, slightly injuring one of his arms, Deku's arms, and Deku will see the damage he created. When the smoke clears, the Nomu does seem to feel a lot of pain, but the Nomu seems to have gotten a bit angry, which means the plan kinda backfired. He'll move the charges after Deku, but then, All Might comes in clutch. All Might will, smack Nomu away from Deku, and then All Might will, verse Nomu, and he'll defeat the Nomu like in canon. Kurogiri, after having to deal with Bakugo and company, will come with a plan to deal with All Might like in canon, but the heroes will arrive just in time, and they'll be able to chase the villains away. Deku's pretty happy seeing some heroes save the day, but is shocked when a couple of them give him a glare, and just puts Deku back into middle school and elementary school days, and wonders back to what Shigaraki said. It's related to the person who caused all that chaos and destruction over Japan 15 years ago. He wants an answer from All Might, and will ask him once he gets to the hospital, because, he has to assess some damage, Bakugo is glad Deku is alright, as Ochako and everyone will head to the hospital to assess their injuries. Bakugo will visit Deku's room, and will ask what happened there, and Deku will explain that he can't say anything right now, but it's something that he needs to confront with someone head-on. Bakugo will be a bit confused, but will leave Deku to it. All Might will then come into the room, Deku's room, and Deku will ask a question. He will say, All Might, I know you wouldn't lie to me about anything, or if you did, it would be for a good reason. So I need to ask you this. Am I related to the man who caused that tragedy in Japan 15 years ago? All Might is kind of swaying right now, and then he asks, why are you asking that, and who told you it was a possibility? Deku will say, when I was fighting Nomu before you arrived, the man who I believe called himself Shigaraki said I might be related to the guy who caused all that chaos in Japan 15 years ago. But that can't be true, right? I thought. But then I saw some heroes that Ida brought over gave me some of the same glares I saw back in elementary and middle school. And I'm starting to wonder if it is true or not. All Might, please, just tell me. Am I related to that person? All Might is really swaying right now, as he believes one wrong move here could cause a potential shift in Deku's heart. If he tells him the truth, there is the uncertainty that Deku won't take it well, and he could either feel really disgusted with himself, may shift towards darkness, because if he's going to get those glares because of something that happened many years ago, then why bother trying? Or he could take it well and understand the circumstances. But if he lies and he is caught lying, Deku may no longer trust him, and he will certainly shift into darkness if one of the people he trusts the most was caught lying to him, and not being honest with him about his circumstances. Back on the inside of Deku's mind, Nana and Dark Deku are watching this, and Dark Deku will say, well, this is interesting. All Might is not in a good position. If he tells him, there's the uncertainty factor, but if he doesn't tell him, he will certainly go towards the path of darkness. It all depends on how Deku will react. This should be very interesting. Nana will say, All Might will make the right choice. I believe in him. However, on the inside, Nana is very nervous right now. Back on the outside of Deku's mind, All Might decides to do it. He will tell Deku the truth. He says, Young Midoriya, it's true. The truth is the man who caused all the destruction in Japan 15 years ago was your father. Deku's eyes widen and says, wait, my father did all that? That can't be true. He's always away on business trips. All Might will say, no, not your current father. Your mother married a couple years after you were born, but your biological father was someone who had the Sharingan, the same quirk you have now, who caused all that chaos 3 months after you were born. He was a great man, as your mother could attest, and he seemed like someone you would expect to raise a child, potentially marry one day and all that type of stuff. However, one day, he snapped and ran chaos on his country. It was only until I arrived that the chaos and destruction stopped, but it took a bit out of me, and was one of my hardest fights to date, that I ended up resorting to something that I never want to do again, and I think you can guess what it was. Afterwards, there were people who wanted you to be dead because of what happened, but I stopped that right away. And of course, afterwards, I decided to get involved with your life, seeing how you would grow, and to check on your mother, because your father did some stuff to her as well. As you grew, I realized you were a great candidate to inherit One for All. So I waited until you fully matured, and I gave you my quirk, and the rest is history. Deku then says, so my father, my biological father, did all that and snapped one day. Did it relate to my quirk in any way? All Might will sigh and say, it's possible, that's another reason I gave you my quirk. I can't tell you the entire reason right now, but your quirk has some dark tendencies that can lead someone to become evil. That was another reason why I gave you my quirk. I believe you have the most potential to become a hero. I believe you have a lot of strength, and I believe you have what I look for in a candidate. The only thing that was a bit of a problem was your quirk. But I believe the goodness of One for All would be the counter to the evil of the Sharingan. People believe I had made a mistake and believe I would regret giving you that quirk. But I believe you will defeat that evil, and I will believe you will be the greatest hero. Deku says, thank you, All Might. Then both of them hug, and at this point in time, I think we can say that, Deku's gonna be fine. Maybe. Deku will say, should I talk to my mother about this? All Might will say, she doesn't really like to talk about it, but she has become more open about it. I don't think you should talk to her about it until she brings it up to you. Deku will nod and says, okay. Deku will get healed and will leave the hospital. Then, meanwhile, back to League of Villains, Shigaraki will say, I wanted to get that brat, but All Might just had to interrupt everything. Next time I see him, he will die, and I will have that boy. And then, all of a sudden, a mysterious man appears in a trench coat and says, I might be able to help you out with that. Shigaraki says, and who might you be? The mysterious man then turns on Sharingan eyes. We will now get into the UA Sports Festival. Deku will be thinking about the sports festival and will want to prove himself here, as he wants that internship with Night Eye. Deku will be very confident in himself for his tournament, but will want to make sure that he doesn't become arrogant, and will try to humble himself a little bit more because, of course, as a martial arts fighter, you know you have to humble yourself and treat your opponents with respect, you know? Deku cannot wait for this tournament to get started, and, you know, he's pretty hyped. Deku will see Ochako acting a bit weird, as in a little more pumped than usual, and when Deku and Ida confront her on this, Ochako reveals why she wants to be a hero, and Deku and Ida will applaud her for it. And Deku decides to help train Ochako, which makes Ochako blush a little bit, because the thought of her and Deku train together and stuff like that, but the rational side of her brain decides it would be a good idea, since Deku is stronger than her. Deku and Ochako will train together, and Ochako will have some, you know, some new skills and stuff like that to show off, so she'll be in a better position for the sports festival, which is pretty good for her. And of course, Deku and Ochako will be getting a bit closer during that 1 week of training, and that means Deku and Ochako could date soon, but they are in a state of not confessing limbo, where something has to happen for, you know, that to happen. So yeah, All Might will go up to Deku and will wish Deku luck and believes he'll win the sports festival, and Deku will say he'll do his best, and Deku goes home and gets ready for the big day. When that day comes, Deku cannot wait to get to work, and then Todoroki will go up to Deku and wants to be in for 2 reasons. One, he's a top dog at school because of his entrance exam scores, how he fought the Nomu, and how well he did in the quirk apprehension test. So Todoroki sees Deku as a very worthy opponent. 2, he seems similar to All Might, so can reason, so yeah. Bakugo will say that Todoroki won't beat Deku because he will beat Deku because he will beat him to get to Deku and all that type of stuff or whatever, and Deku will be right for the challenge and will say bring it on. Of course, since Deku got the highest scores on the entrance exam, he gets to make a speech, and Deku will just keep it simple, just wish everyone luck and stuff like that, and, you know, that's fine, and it doesn't really, you know, anger anybody, unlike Bakugo's speech, you know. Anyways, then the race will begin, and Deku will dominate with pure speed and with his full cowling. Since he has a higher percentage of full cowling, which will be around 12% due to all the training he had during his time skip and stuff like that, with the 10 months and stuff like that, he'll be able to win the first part of the race very easily. Bakugo and Todoroki, you know, try, but cannot keep up with Deku's new speed in his cannon. This is something that frustrates Todoroki, and we now move on to the cavalry battle, which Deku will be able to use his newfound strength and stuff like that, his Sharingan and stuff like that, to, you know, win the entire cavalry battle challenge because he's putting illusions on everybody, and he's doing a pretty good job of that. So yeah, Deku's able to win the tournament with his teammates in Mei, Hatsume, Ochako, and Tokiyami, and Deku will face Shinso in the next round. So once Deku fights Shinso, he'll destroy him pretty easily, as he can discipline himself to not say anything in front of Shinso so he doesn't get brainwashed by his quirk, and will just destroy him in close combat pretty easily. Deku wins and move on to face Todoroki. Meanwhile, Ochako will later fight Bakugo, and yeah, she'll be able to put somewhat of a fight, but she'll still get smacked. After the fight, Deku comforts her and tells her, you know, she did pretty well, and Ochako thanks Deku and says he better win the sports festival or consequences. Deku nods, a little bit nervous, and gets to work. Deku, hearing about what's going on with Todoroki and why he doesn't use his fire half, you know, thinks to himself, I gotta at least help him, right? Deku will later fight Todoroki and will be able to have the advantage over him because of his Sharingan and full cowling, but Deku will be able to still convince him to use his flames like Orange Cannon, but this time Deku will win because of his, you know, newfound control over One For All with full cowling, and will knock him out before he has a chance to use any of his flames and stuff like that against him, and win the match. Deku's pretty happy, and he's ready for the next couple matches. Deku will then fight Ida, and it won't be very difficult for Deku as he uses Sharingan and his full cowling, and will strike Ida on the back of the head, knock him out of the range since he has more speed in his cannon because, you know, he has more access to full cowling, plus he's combined with a Sharingan, so yeah, Deku moves on to the finals, so pretty good for him. Deku will be ready for his next opponent, and it is Bakugo as he smacks Tokiyami, and Deku just smiles because, you know, he's always wanted to fight Bakugo and stuff like that in a tournament setting like this. Of course, throughout the entirety of this tournament, Deku has been dealing with people giving him glares, but he's actually convincing them to, you know, be a bit easier on him because he's, you know, fighting stuff like that, kind of like the same effect Naruto had during the tuning exams once he was fighting people like Neji and stuff like that. So it's kind of slowly changing minds and stuff like that, but it's going to be a bit more of a slower process, you know? Deku and Bakugo will wish each other luck, as this matchup should be great. Bakugo and Deku will be ready for their fight, and the battle will begin. Deku and Bakugo will exchange, you know, blows, as Bakugo speeds over and tries to land a hit first on Deku, but Deku was prepared for that with his Sharingan, and both their fists collide, and Deku will fly back, and will get ready for a counterattack. Deku will try to get into a close combat situation, but Bakugo decides to avoid that because Bakugo knows he's at a disadvantage in close combat because Deku has a quirk that can track his attacks, and Deku is very great in close combat because of his martial arts and, you know, his one-for-all abilities. So he's going to have to try to avoid him and stuff like that. And the only reason he went for that first strike was to try and weaken him with a strike, but of course that didn't work. So he has to now try to make sure he avoids close combat at all costs with Deku until he, you know, has a combat counterattack, you know, like timing one of his AP shots right to the face. Deku knows this and decides he wants to use this as an opportunity to trap Bakugo in illusion or Genjutsu. Deku decides to look Bakugo in the eyes with his Sharingan, and Bakugo is momentarily stuck in an illusion. Deku will then smack Bakugo away, you know, potentially towards outside the ring, but then Bakugo was able to snap out of it and uses his explosions to, you know, get out of that situation. Deku and Bakugo will continue fighting throughout the match, you know, blow for blow, punch for punch, kick for kick, and Bakugo is just waiting to see if he can, you know, land a blow of any kind on Deku, while Deku is trying to make sure that he can finish this match. Deku decides to use more power and utilizes his Sharingan again, and Deku is then able to smack Bakugo, you know, down with a kick to the head. Deku and Bakugo will then go for another strike towards each other, but then all of a sudden, a man in a trench coat will come in between them, and Bakugo and Deku will have both their arms grabbed. Deku and Bakugo are like, what is the big idea? The man will then toss Bakugo away and say to, you know, Deku, Izuku, you're coming with me. Deku will then say, why should I? Then Bakugo, a little bit angry, you know, uses explosion and then goes after the guy and blasts him in the face. And then the man will just look at Bakugo with, you know, two Sharingan eyes, and then Bakugo was just shocked at seeing those eyes. And then the man will say, I guess I should teach you some manners, should I? And then the man will go after Bakugo. Deku seeing this will, you know, go after the man and, you know, punch him in the back of the head. And then the man will just smack Deku away himself. Then Bakugo will get smacked down himself, and then all of a sudden you have the arrival of Kurogiri and Shigaraki along with some villain goons. And then this causes Deku to realize, wait, the League of Villains are attacking again? Then All Might knows that he has to spring to action in some way. The man then looks at Deku and says, this could all stop if you just come with me. Deku then says, again, why should I? Who are you? The man will then say to Deku, Izuku, I am your father. Deku's eyes just widen in shock. It's him, the man that caused that tragedy in Japan 15 years ago, the one that caused all that pain towards his mother, and the man who is the main reason why people look at Izuku with glares and anger and all the other negative emotions. So this is that man. What will happen next? Find out in the next part. Thank you all for watching part 4 of What If Deku Was New Uchiha. This is a fun series for me to create, and I hope to make more parts of this in the future, as I know you guys like this series. Check out a bit for Halo, that really does help me out. To get ready for Saying Naruto and Say 6 Paths Naruto, you know, this week, those should be lit. Watch me continue to tab like a hawk, that is very important. And finally, follow me on Twitter for another way to get notified of my videos, Instagram for memes and smart fun stuff in between. And finally, join my Discord for access to supplementary content, notifications when I live stream ahead of time, and of course, the ability to just send me ideas directly. These are also great ways for you guys to, you know, interact with me as well. So follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and join my Discord server. Shout out to my only $10 patron Bloodbeast, my $20 patron X1 Gamer, and my $50 patron Anguish. If you want to support me further and get rewards such as shoutouts like, you know, these, go to my Patreon, which is linked in the description. The growth on the channel has been insane lately. Thank you guys so much for 14k. Let's get to 15k next, and that is all I have to say. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share the video. This has been your boy, the Anime Sage, signing out. Peace. YEEHAW. Stephanie Shea, close us out. Bye-bye. Peace.
Hi, this is Stephanie Shea, voice actress for Sailor Moon, Hinata, Orihime, and you are watching Anime Sage.
Every show is so insane.